I want to talk a little bit about masculine and feminine energy. I see a lot of people, especially in like the dating advice niche, whatever you call it, uh, that seem to have this belief and it keeps propagating, and I think it's a really false belief. I think it's false, basically. But it's this idea that there's masculine and feminine energy. There are those, okay? But it's the idea that men should have all masculine energy and women should have all feminine energy. And that's what's attractive, that women are attracted by masculine energy and men are attracted by feminine energy. And I hope I just said that right. Men are attracted by feminine. Anyway, first of all, most dating advice is just complete BS because like everybody wants different things, right? If you're trying to get like the most average general person, maybe dating advice will work for you. I don't know, but it's probably going to compromise your soul in the process. But this idea, okay, so here's the idea. We're going to talk about Beauty and the Beast, specifically the Disney animation version from like whenever that was, the 90s or 80s, something like that. Beauty and the Beast. So you have Belle, which is feminine energy personified, and you have the Beast, which is masculine energy personified. And Belle, feminine energy personified is this emotional, like expressive, flowy, explorative, kind, quiet, bookworm, whatever being, archetype. And then the Beast, which has his castle and the forest around it. It's all boundaries. And when somebody crosses into his territory, like Belle's father, he throws them in a jail, even further boundaries. You're bounded. Belle comes in and trades place with her father, and now she's in the boundaries of the Beast, right? The Beast, the masculine energy, this aggressive masculine energy. And when she's in the bounds, a couple things happen. First of all, the Beast actually gives her kind of free reign. He lets her out of the cell and gives her kind of free reign around the castle, except he says, don't go into the West Wing. Like the West Wing is that's where his heart and soul are. That's where he like struggles with his deepest struggles, that's where all his memories and, pictures hanging on the walls and his child self essentially is. And so he tells Belle, like, fine, go wherever, do not go in the West Wing. He sets a boundary again, right? And she goes into the West Wing. So the boundary is crossed again. And when the boundary is crossed, he gets angry. That's what everybody does when a boundary gets crossed, right? You feel anger. Anybody who's not repressing their anger feels anger when a boundary has been crossed. So, or when a boundary is unfair. Injustice is unfair boundaries, essentially. But so Belle crosses the boundary. The Beast gets angry. He expresses his anger. That scares Belle and also maybe angers her a little bit, and she flees. So she crosses the boundary. The Beast at that boundary is protecting that boundary with aggression, verbal aggression. And then, so Belle flees, and there's this bigger boundary that is the castle and the forest around it. And so she flees. She's trying to escape. And wolves. Bad things come. Wolves. And she's in a very dangerous spot. And so this is the second time she's crossed the boundary, right? A boundary that the Beast told her basically not to cross. Like the first one was the West Wing. Now this one is the whole beast's realm, essentially. And when she gets out of his realm, she goes into dangerous territory, and there are wolves there. And then we see another side of the beast with his boundaries, because the first boundary, the West Wing, he yelled at her and he got angry. And this one, he gets angry again, but this time that anger, instead of scaring her or being forceful over her, it protects her. He directs it at the wolves, and it protects her, and he saves her life. But it's, it all comes down to those boundaries, right? And his masculine energy. And she's, you can see that throughout the movie, she's like pushing these boundaries, right? And testing them. And that's the feminine energy, like testing boundaries, exploring emotional expression. All right, so we see a pretty clear picture now of like masculine energy, feminine energy, at least two specific archetypes of those energies. But that's not a man and a woman. Man and woman are human beings. We have many, many energies within us. We have many archetypes within us, each one of us. And so some are stronger and some are more prominent than others, just like your physical body. Some features are more prominent and everybody's different. And you have, males have more masculine parts generally, and women have more feminine parts, especially I just lost my train of thought. So, that made me laugh. I got hair in my mouth now. I don't know why that just made me I felt so awkward saying that. I think my face just got red, maybe. So, we have all of these energies within us. And it's kind of obvious, but these dating advice coaches and these people in the culture don't seem to understand this, but it's so obvious. I mean, you can make it's obvious, women set boundaries too, right? And in fact, in our culture, I think maybe women are more boundary setters than men at times. And men feel emotions and maybe aren't as expressive, but that's just a cultural thing. But oops, getting text. Men are not just masculine energy. Women are not just feminine energy. Okay, we have all of these energies within us, and my fear is that these dating coaches and all this advice about, men should embody a masculine feminine energy and women should embody feminine energy is it's crippling the human being. It causes repression, right? Men they have feminine energies, according to Jung, every man has an anima, every woman has a animus. That's a feminine energy in the man and a masculine energy in the woman. And so we have these parts, and if we encounter these parts, or if these parts need to be expressed, or if they're a strong, prominent part of us, it can be very narrowing and limiting to repress them. You don't want to repress them. You want to become your whole self, right? You want to become all of you. And so, if you have some kind of a sensitivity that seems maybe a little bit more feminine, that's okay. It's not women aren't gonna it's not gonna, when you find the right woman, like the person that has the right contrast to your whatever that archetype in you is, or that feature of that feminine energy feature. When you meet the woman who has the shadow side of that, or the right kind of connection there, you're going to connect. So all these dating advice people, I think the point is this: all these dating advice people say, like, don't be yourself, like, essentially, like, do this, this, and this. But ultimately, I think we're a lot better off if we just become our whole self. I mean, gosh, imagine putting on a mask, that mask of masculine energy, and having to uphold that mask the rest of your life because you married somebody who married you for that, or feeling like you have to uphold that your whole life. That's not what it's about. In fact, if you look at Gaston in The Beauty and the Beast, he is like that man who has repressed everything but the masculine energy. Maybe not even repressed it, but only expresses that. Like, he's like, I gotta be so macho, and like, he's like macho man, and it's this false expression of only masculine energy. It's weird. I mean, it's weird because you immediately know that Gaston is not a good one, right? Basically, he's misguided. And so I think the way to look at the Beauty and the Beast is to see it as an individual, a single person. And Belle, the Beast, Gaston, all these are different parts of a single individual. These are archetypes, and we have archetypes within us. And so every man should and does have some Belle in him. Every woman should and does have some beast in her. And it's really about getting these parts to work together and, marrying them, essentially, and creating a union and working together as a cohesive whole. That's integration, that's individuation, that's enlightenment. It's just like the ultimate, and that's like what you want to do. You want to become whole and get these parts working together for a common goal, for the common good. So anyway, that's my rant about terrible dating advice and masculine and feminine energies. And I really think the Beauty and the Beast is just a fascinating movie. And I might just go watch it after this again because it's just a great movie. So, but anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.